right, we are rolling. Let's do this. So, about 6 years ago, during my senior year of high school, I started this habit where I planned and tracked every hour of my life. See, I was about to enter my first year of college, and I didn't want any of my time to go to waste. So, to stay on track, that's what I did. Ask me what I was doing at any hour, from 2018 to 2021, and I probably had an answer for you. I know, it sounds completely insane and unnecessary, and it was, but to this day, I still miss how productive my life felt. When I was in college, I knew exactly where I needed to be and when. I knew when to do my homework, when to exercise, and when I could rest. But all of that changed when I dropped out of university. When I officially started chasing my dreams. At the time, the transition seemed pretty straightforward. I mean, all I had to do was implement everything I learned about time management and scheduling here in my room, where all I had to focus on was YouTube. In fact, it should be even easier, right? I couldn't have been more wrong. There was something about making art and the unpredictability of it that made it impossible to set goals and deadlines. Sometimes I could spend hours and days pondering the same idea, wondering why nothing good was coming to my mind. But then other days, good ideas would just flow infinitely, and I would get more done in half an hour than I did in an entire week. How could I possibly stay on schedule, plan time to exercise, rest, and do anything else if my art was this unpredictable? So, as I slowly consumed myself into a life of making videos, I just stopped planning my days. I mean, it hurt too much to set a bunch of exciting goals and work until 3 in the morning just to miss my deadlines every time. My videos felt untamable, and I was no longer in the control seat anymore. But maybe that's what I signed up for. Maybe this is what it took to be a full-time artist.
George, we're going to have to wrap this up pretty soon. Is there anything that you've always wanted to ask me? Because, George, I will.
Yes, there is something I want to ask you.
All right.
How the fuck do you write so many books so fast?
Okay, so it must have been several months or maybe a year after dropping out of college when I stumbled upon the famous clip of Stephen King and George R.R. Martin, two of the most legendary authors, talking about their writing process. It was exactly the type of video I was looking for. But as I listened to Stephen's answer, I only got more confused.
There are books and there are books. The way that I work, I try to get out there and I try to get 6 pages a day, 3-4 hours, and I try to get them fairly clean. But that's assuming that it goes well.
And you do hit 6 pages a day?
I usually do.
Hold on, did he say 6 pages a day? And did he say that he writes them in 3 to 4 hours? In 3 to 4 hours, I'd be overjoyed to have a paragraph that I liked. But to consistently churn out best-selling books while still being able to do other things, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. As the interview continued, Stephen's words sounded more like magic than advice.
You don't ever have a day where you sit down there and it's like constipation and you write a sentence and you hate the sentence and you wonder if you had any talent after all, and don't you have days like that?
I was beginning to think that Stephen was just an anomaly. I mean, even George seemed perplexed by his methods. So I just figured that this wasn't for me. Besides, people create in all different types of ways. Maybe this is how I made my art, and that was how he made his. I slumped back in my chair, continuing to create how I always did. Fast forward to the very beginning of 2024. I've officially been making YouTube videos for longer than I was in college. And you'd think that at this point, I'd have some sort of solid grasp on the creative process. But after almost 4 years of creating, I was in the worst shape I'd ever been in. The countless hours of slouching over my desk was beginning to catch up to me. And each video felt more impossible to make. Some days, I'd procrastinate for hours, trying to avoid the pain that came with creating. I was reaching my mental bandwidth, and I knew if something didn't change, my dreams wouldn't last much longer. And so, as I searched for answers, there was only one thing I could think of trying. Over the years, I never forgot about that clip of Stephen King. In fact, I found plenty of other artists who claimed to live healthy and stable lifestyles. There was the legendary Quentin Tarantino, or Yayoi Kusama, the 90-year-old multidisciplinary artist, or the late Virgil Abloh, who produced world-class designs as furiously as Stephen King wrote his books. Maybe there really was hope to save my artistic career. So, with no clear direction on where to begin, I just listened to my intuition. What was my body telling me? What did I need to prioritize? It felt so strange and almost terrifying to place other things above YouTube. I mean, I built my entire career off of sleepless nights, overthinking ideas and suffering for my art. And to suddenly decide to stop and put boundaries on my creative process, it almost felt wrong. But as I forced myself to follow my schedule, something remarkable started happening. In just a couple of weeks, I was creating faster than I ever have before. In fact, this video that you're watching right now, something that used to take me at least 1 month to make, was completed in 7 days. And the best part, I had time for other things. This magic moment. Over the last 4 years, I spent so much of my time toiling with ideas and throwing them away until I found the perfect spark. But Stephen, Virgil, Quentin, they don't just sit there thinking about ideas all day. They're professional artists. They show up and make creative decisions. They paint and film just like an athlete practices every day for competition. So, if I wanted to be a professional artist, then maybe I should stop being so scared of making artistic decisions. Maybe I should start creating even without a spark. Besides, who wants to sit there waiting all day? There are people to spend time with, a body to take care of, and a life to enjoy. And it's all achievable if we just show up and get started. All right. One more.